Hi everyone, another day, another handheld, with this one being Powkiddy's latest, the RGB30. The RGB30 is a pretty unique handheld in that it's all centered around a pretty awesome 4-inch square display. We don't see many square displays in retro gaming handhelds, despite the first generation of handhelds, the Nintendo DS and vertical arcade games, all being very suitable for this setup. It is a fantastic display, and this niche setup makes it one of Powkiddy's more surprising handhelds of the year for sure. So, in terms of emulation, the RGB30 has the tried and many times tested RK3566 chip inside, so it can play up to and the majority of DS titles very well, and some but far from all Dreamcast titles. Otherwise, we've got 1GB of RAM, the great 4-inch square display, very capable 4100 mAh battery, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, fast charging, 2 microSD slots, and JELOS straight out of the box, which we always love to see. So all in terms of specs, in relation to what the RGB30 can actually play, is not too bad and comes in at around the $90 mark. Straight out of the box, the design takes a little bit to get used to, mainly due to how condensed everything feels. On top, we've got the horizontal shoulder buttons, reset volume, rest and power buttons, as well as micro HDMI output. Both sides are thankfully blank, and underneath we've got the charging as well as additional USB-C port, 2 microSD slots which are clearly marked for OS and mods, as well as the headphone jack. There's a little Powkiddy rattle to the handheld when shook, and although I do really like the shell design overall, there's the odd minor imperfection like the underside's plastic not completely matching up with the rest of the shell's plastic. In terms of controls, the RGB30 is thankfully D-pad centered and is more comfortable in the hands than I originally thought it would be. The textured grip on the front and back isn't bad at all, as is the D-pad. The D-pad is, to its credit, pretty responsive, but it is very sensitive to diagonals and feels pretty loose for better and worse. The shoulder buttons go a nice bit around the edges, while the L2 and R2 buttons are raised, which make it easier to avoid accidental presses during gameplay. The analog sticks almost seem intentionally tuned for arcade gameplay, as it's super sensitive in pretty much any direction, and to the RGB30's credit again, the sticks find a good medium between not getting in the way while also being naturally reachable. The face buttons aren't too bad at all. They're a little on the softer side and feel a little loose, but they're able to take a button mashing and seem pretty accurate all in all. So overall, the RGB30 controls feature a comfortable D-pad centric design with a decent textured grip, responsive yet sensitive D-pad, ergonomically designed shoulder and face buttons, and analog sticks that are well tuned for arcade gameplay. One of the really neat things about Powkiddy's RGB30 for me, though, is that it comes preloaded with JELOS, the just enough Linux OS firmware that is just certainly one of my favourites. This not only makes easy work of setting up your ROM collections, but thanks to the inbuilt Wi-Fi, you can make use of scraping, network connections and retro achievements all from the device itself. It all makes for an easy process and just makes that you don't have to think about the inbuilt firmware. So I'll cut some gameplay now and summarise up at the end. Overall, Powkiddy's RGB30 is one of those handhelds that can really grow on you. It's an outright amazing handheld for those handheld systems that can make the most of the square display. So if you've been looking for an excuse to jump into the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Gamegear or even DS's library and want to make the most of the retro achievements and so on, then the RGB30 is worth considering. There's little point throwing any widescreen content onto the square screen, so the modern side of gaming attempts would likely cause more frustration over anything else, and there are some minor build quality issues too. But overall, being the Game Boy fan I am, I personally would recommend the RGB30. That's it for now though, thanks so much for watching.